chickens essentially were kitchen cleansers, barnyard cleansers. I mean, look, when the only way to harvest grain was to hand sow it, hand scythe it, bundle it up, let it dry in a sheaf, okay, all right, and then bring it to another to a masonry floor of some sort, or a hard beaten floor, and pound it out to shatter the grain out of the chaff, and then flail the chaff up in the air and have all your kids blowing, catch some winds to blow that chaff away, and then try to store it in a container that's rat-proof. I mean, in Hosea in the Bible, it talks about trading barley for prostitutes. That's how valuable it was. I'm assuming that prostitutes were still fairly expensive, so probably so was barley. That's my assumption. The point is that this cheap grain omnivore consumption is an extreme historical dietary abnormality. Folks, this ain't normal. That's the point of it. And now, that's not to say that we can't do some really cool things now with the infrastructure that we have, with the electric fence, with very simple, lightweight infrastructure, and those electrified nettings, so that we can actually, in a domestic, controlled way, scavenge more grasshoppers and crickets and get animals out. And with guard dogs, with radio-controlled collars, we can protect them from predation. I'm not saying that we can't do better, but in the big picture, that would be eating the closest to nature. All right, so here we are at the broilers. They get, again, a local GMO-free grain diet, and we move them every day to a fresh spot that they haven't been on. And so the chickens are only on one spot one day a year. So there's a whole year's rest before we come back to that spot. That breaks up the pathogen cycles. It spreads the manure onto more ground, and doesn't give us enough manure in one spot to create a nutrient overload. See, as far as the soil is concerned, if I put on too much nitrogen or phosphorus, it doesn't matter whether it's organic, inorganic, or otherwise. If I put on too much, it's either going to vaporize or it's going to go into groundwater right to the Chesapeake Bay, right? In the final analysis, it doesn't differentiate those two things. So we know that we're putting on all the nutrient that the soil can metabolize in one pass of these broilers. That's why we don't come back a second day in the year. Okay? So by the time you add the broilers, and then you have the turkeys go through once, you have the egg mobiles, we've grazed this with the cows, we've made hay on it, and you have all that cycle, that stackable, synergistic, symbiotic, multi-enterprise, multi-speciated, pasture-based model suddenly ratchets up the income per acre from, say, $300 or $200 on a beef cattle operation to $8,000 here.